Thanks for listening to the NVTV podcast, produced by Nequa Media.
Welcome back to this episode of the NVTV podcast. I'm Jack Thormeyer, and on today's show, we're going to be discussing the importance of balancing academics with athletics. Joining me today is Nick Northrup and Dominic Cozy. Thank you guys for being here today.
Hey, Jack. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Dom, I know you play football. You also play rugby in the spring, but we're going to be focusing on you in the fall sports because, Nick, I know you solely focus on playing rugby in the spring. But starting us off, Dom, during especially the fall, have you ever felt like your academics have suffered because of sports?
I feel like it's been less stressful during the fall. I feel like the start of the year you get a little more peace. I feel like you build up this stress as the year goes on. So like going through the academic part in the fall, I feel like it was easy balancing like my academic and athletic ideas.
Mm-hmm. And Nick, how about you?
Balancing it in season, I'd say, is definitely something that takes a little bit of getting used to. But if you have a sport like rugby where it's not every day, it makes it a lot easier. For example, our practices are only, I think we have, Mondays, Wednesdays, and then we have games either Thursday or Friday. So that makes it really easy to get my work done and have time to study and also have time to do whatever else I want to do.
Yeah, and I know it's the same for all three of us in the room. We're all playing rugby, so the same schedule applies for all of us. I think that has been a lot easier, especially during the spring where school does tend to get a lot harder when you near finals towards the end of the year. So that has definitely helped us. But Dom, going back to you, what is something that you do to manage your time between school, practices, games, and all your schoolwork?
Yeah, it could be challenging because during football, I mean, it's basically 5 days a week. We got practice from Monday through Thursday and the game on Friday. So I feel like what I did to really like manage my time well was go to the library after like my practices and like finish all my schoolwork, get it done before going home, resting, getting something to eat, and I feel like that was really helpful.
And Nick, how about you?
Usually what I do is after I get home from practice, or if before practice I have some time, I just try and get it all done as soon as I can, because I know after I get home from practice, I'm real tired. I want to go to bed and all that. But I don't know, just having your priorities straight, it helps a lot. You just need to make yourself a schedule that you can follow.
Dominic, what kind of subjects do you find most challenging to keep up with? Or is there any like examples that you can think of, either from the football season in the fall or even now the spring rugby season?
Keeping up with like some of my harder classes, like AP classes. I have AP Psych, which is a lot of build-up of homework and stuff. So I'd say that was a little challenging. Also, like getting through finals during that first semester was a bit of a challenge, but I feel like balancing it out, like balancing your homework out with like your practices, like setting a schedule, it really helps.
And Nick, how about you?
I know I personally not struggle, but one of my harder classes is civil engineering and architecture, and it's kind of just another math class, so it gives a lot of homework. And I know those classes are a lot harder to keep up with, especially if they're not as, I guess, appealing.
And Nick, we're going to go to you on this one. Going back to when I asked about how you manage your time between school, how do you stay motivated when one side, sports or school, gets overwhelming?
I have a good example of this. When I got hurt playing rugby, that obviously took away the sports side, so it gave me a chance to sort of get back on the horse as far as like academic-wise and getting my grades in check, especially with only a month left in school. It's a gift and a curse being able to focus on school.
And Dom, how about you?
I feel like it could be a challenge, like physically staying motivated, and like it could get very overwhelming. I feel like having like a good sleep schedule really helps that, because like if you're going through a whole day of school and then practices or sports or games, I feel like that could like take a toll on your body a lot, and I feel like getting rest like really helps you stay active and like helpful with your academics.
Nick, this next one I'm going to start off with you. Have you noticed that at the start of the rugby season, you struggled to get into like the swing of things, trying to conform to your rugby schedule, but also trying to balance your time out of school, like focusing on work?
Yeah, I'd say there's definitely some challenges, especially in the beginning of the season. But it's one of those things that as it goes on, like the season, then, things get easier as you start to figure out a good way to do them.
Yeah, setting a good schedule and like a routine during practices and like during your day. Really helpful.
Yeah, guys, do your teachers specifically, and this could also go into coaches as well, how many times, or can you provide any examples that you've been given flexibility when schedules clash?
Yeah, I feel like some assignments can like get involved like with like homework due dates during like games or game nights. I feel like a lot of my teachers have been very flexible. Like I've asked for maybe like a day past the due date to finish the assignment due to my games, and they've been really flexible and helpful for me to keep up with that work and that athletic side of things.
And Nick, can you think of any examples, specifically maybe this year, where like a teacher or a coach has even wondered about giving you like flexibility, or you've asked?
Yeah, I think I asked my teacher, Mr. Ross, if I could have an extension on one of our projects, because it was a long week as far as rugby goes, and it was, I think, closer to finals week. But during those times, I think if you have a teacher that you respect and they respect you back, it's pretty easy to get an extension for a day or two.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot easier when your teachers have also gone through the same things when they were in school or even college. So I think it's easier for them to get a perspective into what your schedule looks like or how overwhelmed you can be with sports and even other stuff outside of school. So I think that definitely helps and kind of provides that relationship with a teacher or instructor to kind of ease off on like maybe some specific due dates or stuff like that. Dom, going back to you, what's one thing that people don't realize about being a student athlete?
I would say it's just a lot of work. You really gotta like balance these schedules out and like really be mindful of your time, set routines, set like expectations for yourself in order to be a better student academically and athlete. So yeah.
And Nick, how about you?
I'd say going off of that, like as you start to make that schedule for yourself and build those habits, even outside of school, just in general, having that like drive in you that can be able to do two things at once, because I know a lot of people struggle with that. I did early on, but it's something that you just learn.
Mm-hmm. And Nick, going back to you, what has been the biggest thing you've learned about discipline and responsibility while being a student athlete?
I'd say making sure not to fall behind, because it's definitely a smack on the mouth when you do. Having to go back to school and do all the work that you missed while also having to do the work that's assigned like just the day that you're coming back. But yeah, basically just staying on track and having like a notebook or something to write your assignments in helps a lot.
Yeah. And Dom, what about you?
Yeah, I totally agree with Nick on that one. I feel like, like keeping up with all your academics is like a major priority. There's definitely been some times in my life where I've like been tired because of athletics and like I've just like slacked off in academics, and I feel like it's really like hard. It's like it's harder to get back like to get good grades and stuff after like that fall off point. So I feel like it's really helpful to stay on track before like anything major, like any major impacts on your academics happen.
All right, guys, nearing the end here, we just got one more question. Nick, I'm going to start off with you. What have your coaches done, and what have they told you and your team about the emphasis on academics, and what kind of message do they send?
So a big thing that I've kind of been hearing throughout every sport I played. When I used to play football, it was always student first, athlete second. When I'm playing rugby, it's student first, athlete second. It's something that obviously, even though there is no ineligibility, if you have a bad grade in rugby, our coaches still make sure that we're staying on top of that because they know that that's what's more important than playing rugby.
Mm-hmm. And Dom, going to you.
Yeah, for football, they definitely made it a priority for students. You're a student first and an athlete second. We've had some that coaches wouldn't let people play if they had a certain grade that was lower than expected, and they really just are on you about keeping your grades up in order for you to play just the sport that you love.
Yeah, well, that is all the time we had today. Dom, I appreciate you coming on, and Nick, I appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you to Nick Northrup and Dominic Cozy for joining us today on the NVTV podcast. The NVTV podcast is produced by media students at Neuqua Valley High School. Enjoy the rest of your day.